So back with Aaron Donald, Aaron, there's just so many things about this game and about your role in this game that interest me so much. But I want to tell you one thing. I've been doing stories the week after the Super Bowl with sort of the star of the game. And it's almost always the quarterback. It just is. I've done it twice with Tom Brady. I did it with Eli Manning after his game, Nick Foles, but what struck me so much about this game, being around the Rams a little bit the week before the game, this team really wanted to win this game for you. It wasn't, hey, let's win it for Stan Kroenke or for it was like, you have been through the tough times and you were with the bad Rams. Yeah. And I mean, you ended up winning it. And so I guess I'll start off by saying, or by asking, did you feel that from your team in the few days before the game? Did anybody walk up to you and say, dude, we really want this for you more than anything else?
Oh, I think a lot of guys were saying that. It was, I lost my voice, by the way, but a lot of guys were saying that. A lot of coaches was coming up to me saying that. So to hear that, it mean a lot. A bunch of guys you're going out to war with every day. It's like they want to accomplish that for you. But like I told them, it ain't about me. We doing this for us. So it's definitely special, man. It's a real, like you said. I was there when we was in St. Louis. We wasn't the best team. We wasn't a playoff contending team. We transitioned. We come to California. First year ain't what it is. We get a new young head coach. You don't know what to expect, and then we work to get to this point. So it's like you just keep working. You keep working. You keep building up to accomplish something like this. It's like a dream come true. It's kind of hard to put it in words, and your emotions be all over the place at times, but you're still living in the moment, so it's still sinking in. So, it mean a lot, man, just to have the group of guys we got with the coaches we got and the way they feel and like the real love we got for each other. I think we just had a special group and we did something special this year, man, and we forever indebted until being world champs. It's special.
What I thought was really, really cool after the game. It was in your post-game interview on the field. It was when you did your press conference underneath the stadium. I think it was with Jada, right? Jada was with you, your daughter. I mean, yes. She's just the cutest thing. She was looking out and she's saying, "Oh my God, what's going on out here, Daddy?" But everything. And then, at the parade, you're joyous. It means so much to you. You can't fake this. You really can't. And so I just wonder, I know we're a few days removed from it, but is that really how it feels to you?
It just feels like, just imagine being a kid. You got to think, I've been playing football since I was 5 or 6 years old, right? And I always talked about, I want to make it to the NFL. But I always set high goals and expectations for me to accomplish, but, I surpassed anything that I ever thought was possible. So I remember being a kid watching the Super Bowl, cheering for the Steelers. I got to play my second Super Bowl and win one. So it's just special, man. It's like a special moment. It's hard to put it in words because, like I said, you got the guys you work with, and then you get the experiences with your family, like my kids, my wife. This is stuff that's going to be like, they remember that type of stuff for the rest of their lives, man. I'm going to remember that for the rest of my life. So it's just a special moment. And when people talk to me about it, all I can keep saying is I'm just living in the moment right now. It's like, you just got to be in the moment. You got to enjoy it. You got to just enjoy the process. I ain't getting no sleep yet. And I'm just enjoying that just because I'm just taking it all in, man. It's honestly, anything that's getting thrown my way, I want to do it because I just want to experience everything. Like, I went to my first Laker game yesterday. It's like, I'm
Wait a minute. That's your first Laker game?
My first Laker game. Yep.
Aren't you a basketball fan or are you not?
I'm a LeBron. I ain't gonna lie, I'm a LeBron fan. So, I try to watch the playoffs and tune in, but actually being in the building, feet was on the wood, got to see it close up and live, man. And for them to pull that game off how they did, it was pretty cool, pretty special. So.
After the game, LeBron James went up to you and talked to you a little bit and gave you an embrace. What was that like? And what do you remember him saying to you?
It was special, man. He pretty much just, gave me a five, gave me a hug, and congratulated me, and pretty much told me I'm the best defensive player you ever watched play. So
Wow.
To hear that from a great like that, man, a guy that that motivate me. Even though we in two different professions, but the things he was able to accomplish in his career, the things he's able to do, you feed off guys that have a success. You try to not imitate and try to do what you can to reach that type of success as far as being champions and things like that. So to hear that from a guy like that, man, it's definitely special, man. So like I said, you gotta just enjoy the moment, soak it all in. Because it's a blessing. It's a blessing. Not to just win a Super Bowl, but to win it in our own stadium, in a city that we live in, with all the fans being there, and it's special. It's special.
I want to go back to 5 years ago when the Rams were coming off a lousy, debut in Los Angeles, playing at the Coliseum, another losing record. And the Rams decide to fire Jeff Fisher. And in his place, they hire a 30-year-old coach. And I don't know, you probably don't get into reading all that much stuff in the media, but there was a lot of criticism for them hiring a coach who had never been a head coach before, who was 30 years old. And I wonder, the day you heard that they were hiring Sean McVay, what's your absolute first thing that went through your mind?
Well, honestly, before they hired him, the first meeting they had a meeting with him. They actually had me meet him at a hotel. So I got to meet him before it was all even out to the media. So I remember walking into a room, and they said that we're gonna hire this guy. I want you to talk to him. And they said, I want you to let us know what you think. I walks in the room, I'm looking around, I see this young coach just sitting there. I'm like, I know that's not the head coach they about to get, is it? This young guy just walk up, shake my hand, I'm talking. I'm like, what is this? But but just talking with him, man, you kind of feel you never know what to expect, but when he was speaking at the time and the things he was saying he gonna bring, you feel confident about it, but at the same time, you still got to see how everything transition, how everything work out, and it ended up being an amazing hire. It's been a blessing to have him as my head coach and play with him, build the bond with him, a close relationship with him, and like I told him yesterday, I appreciate him. I know they say they do a lot for me, but like I told him, I was here before him, and I couldn't get the job done. So we do this all together. You need everybody to do their position, do their part to help accomplish something like this. And I believe that, having him as our head coach with the man he got, and the guys he was able to bring in, and what he was able to create, what we was able to create, is special, man. So, at times I remember seeing him and having no clue, but to see the come full circle, and we be sitting here right now as a Super Bowl champion, it's crazy.
Aaron, when you walked off the field 3 years ago after losing the Super Bowl to the Patriots, you guys had a very good defensive game, but you didn't win the game. You lost 13-3. Do you remember walking off the field that day and what you felt?
I was heartbroken. I remember walking out crying like a baby, because you work so hard to get to that point, right? So all the training you do through the off season, all them long days at work, all the extra film, it's to playing games like that and have opportunities to win. So if anything, it motivated me. It pushed me to do everything in my power to try to get back to that game and do more. I felt like I didn't do enough the first time. So this second time around, I had the experience, I had the mindset, I knew how to go about things, and I knew what I needed to do. I needed to up my level as far as a player, as far as a leader. So I could do everything in my power to, make sure that we had our best chance to be world champions. So the best thing I took out the Super Bowl loss is, it just motivated me. It pushed me to work that much harder. It made me that much more hungry. You kind of understand what you're playing for after that. It ain't about individual stats, individual awards. It's a blessing accomplished that it is, but this feeling here, being a world champion, it's a different type of feeling. This is what you work for. This here, because ain't nothing like it in the world. I'm telling you, like Von Miller was saying, the whole time leading up to it, it's football heaven. It truly is football heaven, man, and we living in it right now. So,
it's amazing. I saw you speak after winning the Defensive Player of the Year, one of the 3 times you won it, and you were happy. But today you're effervescent. You're almost explosive with joy. And there is a difference, isn't there, between an individual honor like Defensive Player of the Year and winning a team thing like the Super Bowl?
100%. Like I said, individual award, it's a blessing to accomplish things, and you'll be happy. But this here, being the last team standing, a world champion, and you get to share that with the guys you went to war with. You get to share this with all the fans, your family get this, experience this with you. There's nothing else like it in the world. After we won a Super Bowl, we was on the field. You do you on TV. My kids, all 3 of my kids, my wife is all with me on TV. Like, that's the type of experience that like you can't dream no bigger than that, man. So it's like, if you ain't playing for this, if you ain't playing to be a world champion, man, then you're in the wrong business. I truly believe that. So, I was chasing a long time to try to, get to feel like this and accomplish this. So to be living in it right now, man, I can't say it enough. I'm just in the moment, and I'm just soaking it all up.
Aaron, I wonder, when you were in St. Louis, did any part of you used to think, hey, well, I'm going to have a really nice career, but man, we are really far away from winning it all. And if I don't win it all, hey, it's okay. Not everybody gets to win a Super Bowl. What was it like losing as much as you lost in St. Louis?
It's horrible. It's the worst feeling in the world. I tell people all the time, it's the worst feeling in the world. It's kind of like, it's like you keep studying for the test, but you just keep failing. You ain't passing. So winning is a great high. It's a high you got to be on, man. So, losing it puts you in a bad place, bad energy, minds all. I feel like when we were losing, I made I think, like you talk about like in St. Louis or first year in California or LA. That was one of the years I got my most, fines just from doing silly things, just losing, man. It just bring the worst out of people. Sometimes it bring the best, sometimes it bring the worst, but it's a horrible feeling when you're losing. Ain't nothing like winning. I can tell you that much. Ain't nothing like being a winner. And right now, hey, we on top of the world.
Look at you.
We on top of the world.
Aaron, I want to fast forward to this game and ask you a few questions about this game. So I think most people thought coming into this game that, man, if Joe Burrow gets time to throw, he's dangerous. And they got 3 great receivers. And so can you tell me a little bit about what Raheem Morris told the guys on your line about what was really important in this game to make sure that not only you were going to be able to win, but you were going to be able to disrupt Burrow?
Yeah, well, I think every week I feel like they want to put it on our shoulders. You get off the quarterback, you find a way to put pressure on quarterback, hit sacks. I feel like a defensive line, as a defensive line, you can take over a game. So he kind of just he gave us some good speeches to rile us up early in the week. He pretty much told us to go out there, let's go eat. And that's what we want. We had 2 weeks to study. So I had 2 weeks to prepare for this team, break each offensive lineman down to a T, got to break the quarterback down to a T to the point where how long he hold the ball, what he do, if I'm there, if I know how he gonna try to spin out and get out the sack. So I got to study it to a T. So I was ready for the test. Now, like, all we had to do was go out there and execute it. And, the first half, I think, they did a good job of getting the ball out quick,
Quick, yeah.
He's a young guy that probably got a little, he wanted to hold it a little longer and get them deep balls. And that's when we started taking advantage of it the second half of the game. So I was able to give some blitzes and at times get the one-on-one looks that we wanted. We knew he was going to take advantage of. So we knew up front, I think we knew we had the advantage. We just had to go out there and execute it. Like I said, you broke down film, you see the weaknesses, you see the strengths, you see what we, against us, against you got like Flo, you got Vaughn Miller, Grade Gaines, you got Ashawn Robinson, you got myself. So we was confident. We just had to go out there, execute it and make it happen, bring it to life. And I think, first half wasn't what we wanted, but we found the way to the second half to take over the game, and we found the way to do it when we needed to, and we won.
Did you were you shocked on the first play of the second half when there was the 75-yard touchdown pass to T. Higgins?
Yeah, I was. Because on that play, I actually tried to split it. I could have. So I was in the 4-eye. The guard blocked down. I kind of split it. The tackle kind of washed me down a little bit. And I tried to get the quarterback, but he kind of stepped away and he threw the ball. And I'm like, you kind of, they get a big momentum play like that, the first play out of the half. So it's like, you got to go on the sideline, let everybody stay locked in, make sure that, we're going to win this game. You got to have confidence, I knew at times, our offense was getting slowed down a little bit, but we confident as a team that I knew the game was going to come down to the defense after to make the last play. I knew that. I promise you, I felt that in my heart, just because I'm confident that them guys on the offensive side of the ball was going to get it going. We just had to do our job on defense. They scored. It come down to a minute something left in the game. To put it on the defensive shoulder to close it out to be world champions. You couldn't write that no better. You couldn't want it no better. Like you live for moments like that. That's when great players is made. This big time players show up in big time games when need be. And you feed off that. You live off that. And that if that don't get you, I got the chills talking about it right now. Like, you live for moments like that though. Like, you live for that. So to have that opportunity to try to close out a game to be a world champion, and we do that. Come on, man. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Three plays in the second half I want to talk to you about. Right after the touchdown pass to T. Higgins, there's an interception. Bengals get the ball back. 2nd and 10. You got to run a long way, but you get one of those sideline sacks. You get them for 1 yard. And the replay showed it over and over again that you hit Burrow and he still had a foot in bounds. It was a legal play, but the Bengals came after you right on that play. Tell me what you remember about that play, and what do you remember about the Bengals' reaction and your reaction?
Well, it was a play. It was a hustle play. I caught him over there. He tried to shake me. I ain't bite on it, and I was able to just give him a little push. Actually, Burrow was the one. He looked at me like, "Hey, Aaron, that was a clean play." The quarterback told me that, and I'm about to walk out. I feel everybody start pushing and hitting me. I almost lost it. I'm like, I forgot I was in the Super Bowl. I'm about to try to fight. The refs kind of like, Aaron, just get out of here. So, they already got me mad now. They want to push on me, say all these types of words to me now. Oh, you just woke me up. You just woke me up. We did a certain look. I sent the blitz to the point where we was able to get a 5-0. We put the linebacker over that center. Bang. I got a true one-on-one. Number 77, he did a little talking, so I wanted to show him how strong I was, gave him a little power, boom, and pretty much bowled him to the quarterback. And we made a big play when we needed to. We they get 3 points out of it, but out of over a short field turnover, we stood tall, we bowled up, we found the way to not
that
allow
was you're talking about the sack right before the field goal. They're at your 11-yard line, going in, and Burrow gets sacked. You sack him for 9 yards. You had 2 sacks on this series, and that's the play you're talking about. That you had to come up with a big play on that to stop him from scoring 7.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we bowled up when we needed to, and then and it couldn't be no better. You want to start pushing and saying all these words to me. I like a little competition, and we could play mean. Let's play mean then. So we can do that. So I had a show.
All right, so let's go to the last series. They take over with 1:25 to go. They get a long throw to Jamar Chase. Then they get another completion to Tyler Boyd. They're at your 49 with 2 timeouts left.
Yep.
Okay, Burrow takes a shot downfield, incomplete. But now it's 3rd and 1.
Yep.
You're 49, 48 seconds to go. They still got 2 timeouts to go. Tell me, what was said in your huddle? What were you thinking going into 3rd and 1? Where they only need probably about 15 yards to get a field goal to send it to overtime.
Well, 3rd and 1, I kind of knew they was going to try to run it on 3rd and 1. It makes sense. They had 2 timeouts left, so it was about being gap sound, bowing up. I was able to. They tried to turn out. I was able to, get good knock back on that guard. Close that A gap up. I think Greg Gaines, the nose tackle, did a great job of collapsing that A gap, making it small to the point where it was hard for him to squeeze through. I was able to get off, grab him with one arm, pull him back. When I tackled him, I actually thought he got the first down. I really didn't realize that I stopped him short. So, it was 4 for 1 in my head. I'm thinking they're gonna try to run the ball again. So the back was a little child, and they started, saying their little checks that told me it was a pass. I'm like, they about to try to throw this on 4 for 1. I did my go-to rush, my chop club. I knew they was gonna slide the protection to me. I'm gonna try to beat this guy on the edge as fast as I can. The tackle jumped out wide. I did the chop club, got to the edge.
Were you surprised that the guard, the left guard, didn't get any help from the center, or didn't get any help at all on that play?
He had to slide. The center missed me. I beat him. I beat him on the edge fast. So the center was still sliding to me. So I was able to chop club, get to the edge. I pinged off the tackle. And if you see that the center tried to peel back late, he didn't slide hard enough. So he got a little lazy with the slide. All game, he was running over now. So he gave me that much time to be able to bend the edge and get past him too. So it was really true still a double team if you want to count the slide protection he had. But I was able to beat him on the edge. So it was good. Won.
Did you think you were going to get to Burrow on that play? Did you see it? What's going through your head? Are you pretty excited?
Yeah, I'm going to tell you exactly how I felt. Once I felt that boom, boom, and I felt myself push off, and I seen Burrow do this. He did this, and he had the ball. And it was like in my head, I promise you, I'm like, I'm about to make this play. We're about to win a Super Bowl. Like once I felt myself grabbing, I said, we just won a Super Bowl. I tried to get the ball, but once I spun it, he just threw it. My heart kind of dropped for a second because I was like, please nobody catch it. Then I seen it, but as soon as I felt myself grab him, I promise you, I was like the whole time taking him to the ground. I said, we just won a Super Bowl. I just made this last play for us to win. I was like, you couldn't write it no better. You couldn't write it no better. I'm like, it felt good. It felt real good.
Aaron, you know what's interesting? Most often in a Super Bowl, right at the end of the game, it's what Tom Brady or, a big quarterback does, or, on the last play of the game, or a great catch by a Cooper Kupp or something.
Yeah.
Very rarely in Super Bowl history is the last play of the game a huge play made by a defensive player. And I just kept thinking to myself, you've probably been training for this for much of your life to be able to do something like that. Have you ever imagined a moment like that?
You think about it all the time. When you visualize the game, when you think about being in big moments and big games like that, wanting to close out a game like that and make the big play. That's why you do the extra rep in a weight room. That's why you do the extra sprint during the off season. That's why you exhaust your body. That's why you study so much film. So when certain opportunities come and present themselves, you're already prepared and you're ready for it because you worked for it. You groomed yourself for that moment, right? So when you put it in your head and you visualize it so much, all you got to do now is just bring it to life. So, a lot of people got dreams and live out dreams, but for everything to play out how I did this year for us, I keep telling everybody, man, I'm about to write a book on this season because it's like a storybook ending. You couldn't like, we had to play Arizona, a team that we was fighting for the NFC West to beat them in the first playoff game. We beat them. You got to go to Tampa and play one of the greatest players and football winners ever to play the game, and Tom Brady, the guy that won 7 Super Bowls. You got to find a way to beat him in Tampa to move on. And then me personally, I wanted to play the 49ers. Like I felt like if you after that, I told my dad after we lost to them that last game of the season, I said, I'm cheering for the Niners this whole playoff run because I want them to win. I want it to come down to us after to beat them in SoFi to go to the Super Bowl. A team that beat us the last 6 times, a team that to be honest, we don't like. It's a rivalry. It means something. You couldn't write it no better than that. Then you do that and then have opportunity to play the Super Bowl in your own stadium. It's like, you guys just saying that all. I feel like I got to write a book on this season because it's like a storybook ending, man. It really is.
You know, I also remember that last year when you weren't healthy at Green Bay, the last game of the season, you know, the cameras caught you in a close-up and either you were sweating a lot or you were crying. And it was like one of the saddest pictures I remember. And I forget whether it was somebody wrote this or it was an announcer. I hope that's not Aaron Donald's last chance to get to a really big game because you weren't yourself a year ago. And now you had an opportunity to be yourself, you know?
Yeah. The thing about that Green Bay game, like, you know, you getting so close to, you know, to get to a Super Bowl and you fall short. What broke my heart the most, I felt like I wasn't at my best. I wasn't healthy. I wasn't able to, you know, really help my team to move on and accomplish something that we've been working for, you know? So I felt like I let them down, man. So, you know, me personally, that just hit me different. It just, you know, it just hit different, man, because you want something so bad, but you can't, like, you just ain't got the strength to play how you got to play or make plays to help, you know, give us a chance to move on. You know, I'm a piece to the puzzle. I'm not everything. I'm just a piece to the puzzle. And I wasn't able to be that piece for my team. So that hurt it, man. It really did, man. And like, I was down for a while. I don't think I never cried that much, you know, after a game. I was in the shower. I was in the locker. I just couldn't stop crying. My heart was just broke. So, you know, to experience that and then the next year, you know, experience this, all smiles, all the crying you see is happy cry, happy tears. I'm proud of my guys. I'm proud of myself. I'm proud of, you know, the LA fans for showing so much love. You know, I'm happy I got to share that with my wife and my kids. Like, it's just a different feel, man. It's like I said, it's a high. You want a high right now, man. When it's like on a high, it's like, it's one of the best feelings in the world.
You've now accomplished everything that a player could accomplish. You won all the individual awards, all the All-Pros, and now you've won a Super Bowl. I could see some people would say, well, he's done it all. Time to move on in life. And I can see other people saying, oh my God, why would he leave now? So what thoughts are going through your head a few days after the game about whether you're going to keep playing?
You know, I'm just in the moment. You know, I can't say that enough. Like, because I'm still in the moment. I'm still soaking it up. It's still new. You know, it's been a few days, but it's still new. So I'm still enjoying this, enjoying it with my family. So, you know, I've been blessed, you know, to play this game 8 years at a high level. A lot of people don't got the opportunity to do that, you know, and for me to, you know, accomplish what I accomplished, experience the things I got to experience, man, it really been a blessing. You know, I can't thank God enough for, you know, the people he put in my life, you know, the parents he put in my life to mold me how I am. So, you know, I'm in a moment right now, so I'm just enjoying it. I want to just let everything just continue to soak in, and we'll see what happens from there. So,
what's great about this is, who says you have to decide anything right now? You don't.
Exactly.
You've got plenty of time. Your franchise has plenty of time. You should take this time to enjoy it, to love it, to revel in it, to go on James Corden, to go on all these shows and to really, really have fun, because I mean, if you've been working for this as long as you have, you know, you've got to revel in it.
Yes, sir. You got to enjoy it, man. 'Cause I waited so long for this. You know, I remember so many people talking about how I remember my coach, D-line coach Mike Waffle. You know, I was my D-line coach when we was in St. Louis in our first. And I learned a lot from him. One thing he told, I remember being there as a rookie, in a meeting room, he was like, my biggest wish for all you guys ain't the stats, ain't none of that. I just want y'all to feel that confetti of being world champions. And I remember him saying that. And he called, we've been talking, we talk every week. He's like, hey, AD, go get it. Like, I want you to experience that. I remember so many people just told me how it feel the experience. So I've been waiting to experience this for so long. Like,
so how did the confetti feel?
I cried like a baby when I seen it. You seen it on TV. I was good. You feel your emotions, you happy. But once you see the confetti, you just put your arms out like, it's like, wow. It's like, I can't explain the feeling, man. Any guy that play a sport, you know, I want everybody in any profession they in accomplish being a world champion at their profession. It's the best feeling in the world. I promise you. When you work for something like this, everything else, the individual stats is going to come. When you just chasing a goal like this, and you really working for that, and you really putting the time in, when nobody's watching, you really putting that effort in, and you really grinding to accomplish something like this, there's going to be so much great things that come with that. Like, that's the best advice I can give to people or young guys is, just work, man. It's like, don't worry about money. Don't play for stats. Don't play for individual awards. Play to be a world champion and really work at that and grind at that. And I promise you, you're going to accomplish more than you ever thought you were getting accomplished. Because if you would have told me 8 years ago that I would accomplish all this in this league in 8 years, I would have smiled. I would have been like, okay, but I don't know. But when you really hard work pays off, man. It really do. When you really work for something, you won't believe the things you can accomplish. It's amazing, man.
Aaron, I'm going to end with this. I just want to tell you the last memory I have of you from my trip to your training camp this year. There was a little 11-on-11 scrimmage on a Saturday, and I was there. And Stafford was playing against you guys. It was ones against ones. And I remember him. He went out, he faded to the right. He threw a sidearm throw. Great throw, was complete. And you went up to him and you kind of semi-hugged him. Yeah. And first of all, I don't know you well at all, but I know how competitive you are. And you hate it when people make plays against you and against your defense. Yeah. And I just thought it was so weird that you would have kind of hugged him. And I asked you afterwards, what was that about? And your words to me that day were, I just told him, I am so glad you're here.
Yes. It's the truth, man, because like, I seen it in camp. Like, you get the opportunity to play with a lot of people and you can see the talent that people got. And when I was seeing like the no-look throws in camp, like boom, like I gotta give him his props. It's like, bro, that was a hell of a throw. Like, that's special. So I knew what we had, man, and I just, I'm appreciative of a lot of things, man. I'm appreciative. We had a lot of heart-to-heart conversations yesterday. We was all drinking, having fun, and you got to talk to everybody, like really thank everybody, to Cronky, to Les, to Matt, to Bit Wick, to Von Miller, to all them guys, and really have conversations with them and let them know how much you appreciate them, because we accomplished something special, man. We created a drink, we created a special team, and we had a lot of high expectations. A lot of people was like, but we had to bring that to life, and I think we brought that to life, man. And we did something special that's gonna be forever, So when you think about stuff like that, it just make you smile. You're just happy. You're just happy.
Aaron Donald, thanks so much for taking the time. And, I'm so glad. I remember the first year I ever covered the Super Bowl was in 1984. It was Dan Marino's second year in the NFL. And Dan Marino was going up against Joe Montana in Palo Alto, 49ers against the Dolphins. and Miami lost the game, and everyone said to Dan Marino, "Don't worry, Dan, you'll get back again. You'll be at a lot of these games." And he just nodded. And after his career, I got to work with Dan at HBO on the Inside the NFL show. And I could tell to this day, it really hurts him to have never won a Super Bowl. And I always thought how unfair that is, that one of the greatest players of all time doesn't win a Super Bowl. And quite honestly, I would have felt similar if one of the greatest defensive players hadn't won a Super Bowl. Like we saw Lawrence Taylor won a couple, and Reggie White won one, and now you've won one. So, you don't have that little thing against you or sort of hanging there. It happened, you won it. And in the last two plays of the game, you made the plays to make it happen. It's kind of cool.
It's a blessing. It's like I experienced everything that I can experience in this league as far as winning team success, from winning the NFC West. We did that multiple times. Winning the NFC, we did that 2 times. Now I'm being a world champion. I know how all that feels. So it's crazy, man. Like it's hard to put it in. I'm trying to find ways to put it in words, but it's just. Hey,
you did a really good job with me, and I really appreciate you taking the time. Happy for you, and whatever you decide, good luck in life.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you so much. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.